and welcome back to the Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. It's the final week of the WSL season in 2020, with all teams about to take on a 2-week break after this week's fixtures. And what a year 2020 has been. It has thrown up many obstacles, obviously the big one being the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the football returning in September. Obviously the previous WSL season being cancelled, and then the Champions League being held in a mini tournament. But we'll forget that, and we're going to end this year on a high by looking towards the FA Women's Super League fixtures for the final time in 2020. And we start off with the early game at 12 o'clock at Leigh Sports Village as Casey Stoney's Manchester United welcome Bristol City to the Manchester. A win for Casey Stoney side will mean they will finish 2020 unbeaten in the WSL and will be top at Christmas, in which will be a phenomenal feat for Casey Stoney's side. There's a lot of injuries coming into it for Manchester United, as there have been over the last few games. I don't think any of their players that have previously missed games recently are going to be back fit enough for the game against Bristol City, and I don't think Casey Stoney side will risk it. On the Bristol City's front, injury wise, I don't think there's any new injuries for the Robins, but there's still team news could come out between now and Sunday lunchtime. Bristol City will be hoping to get their first win of the season. This is to bridge the gap between themselves, West Ham and Aston Villa, who are above them. I think looking at it on paper, you've got to say Manchester United have been the favourites, though. They played poorly last week against Reading and still managed to get the win, and were defeated by Everton in the only Conti Cup game that was rescheduled from earlier on this month, where they lost 1-0 thanks to a Lucy Graham goal. Next up, it's Arsenal versus Everton at Meadow Park. It's a game that's going to be very tightly contested, I think, because Everton 5th, Arsenal 3rd. Arsenal will want to end the year on a high. I think the likes of Vivianne Miedema and Jill Roord and Caitlin Ford, that front three, could have a very impactful game, as they can always. Everton themselves have got threats going forward. It's definitely going to be one where you think it's not going to be as easy as some of the games have been for Arsenal this season, and it's definitely going to be, I think, my game to watch this weekend. Next up, we have Birmingham City taking up Manchester City at 2 o'clock at the SportsNation.bet Stadium in Solihull. Carla Ward's side will be looking to improve on their 3-0 defeat last time out against Arsenal. Their game last week was obviously called off due to waterlogged pitch against Everton, so they've had a bit of extra time to prepare for this game, where Manchester City played on Wednesday in the Champions League against Göteborg in the round of 32, which they won and progressed to the round of 16. So yeah, Birmingham are going to be a fully more rested side, but don't write off Manchester City to try and score a few goals there. Next up, we have Chelsea versus Tottenham. Again, Chelsea, another team that played in the Champions League in midweek. This time they also won in their round of 32 game, and they have played in the league as well. They played last week against Brighton, where they won thanks to a Sam Kerr header. So Chelsea, they'll be hoping that Man United drop points earlier on in the day so they can finish the year on top themselves. However, like we said previously, they do have the game in hand over Casey Stoney's side after their game against Aston Villa earlier on in the year was postponed due to COVID outbreak in the Aston Villa team. Tottenham are looking better now under Rhian Skinner at the helm. They've won their last 2 games. They've climbed up to 8th in the table, 9 points out of 9 games. Alex Morgan's finally finding her score and boots as well for Tottenham, so it could all come at the right time for the Tottenham now, these last 3 games, if they get a win on Sunday. And the final game, yes, there should usually be 2 more, but West Ham versus Aston Villa got postponed earlier on today and has been rescheduled. And the final game is Brighton Hove Albion against Reading at the People's Pension Stadium. Brighton sit in 9th place with 8 points from the opening 9 games. They'll be hoping to put to bed a bad December where seeing them lose both of their games to fellow London teams Tottenham and Chelsea. So they'll be hoping to get one over Reading, whilst Reading sit in 6th place. As we said earlier on, they lost to Manchester United last week, but they did put up a good fight for themselves, and they have had a lot of draws prior to the Manchester United game, so they'll be hoping to get a victory this time round. All the games are available on the FA Player, apart from the Reading versus Brighton one, which will be available on BT Sport 1, and the Arsenal versus Everton game is the one that's also available on the BBC iPlayer. Apart from that, all of the games are available on the FA Player, as far as I'm aware. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. We'll be back early next week to have a roundup of this week's fixtures and anything else that we've missed throughout 2020, and even give you our Christmas 11. So until then, goodbye.